Greetings, friends, and welcome to Captain Samuel's Soy Bells. Today, we're looking at Jesus on Mars. It was written in 1979 by Philip Jose Farmer, and it's science fiction mixed with religious themes and philosophy. To sum the book up, in the early 2000s, scientists discover images of a crashed spaceship and a tunnel on Mars, so they send out a team of astronauts to Mars to investigate it. The team of astronauts is a diverse crew of various nationalities, races, religions, and genders, but the story tends to focus on the captain of the expedition, who's named Orm, and he's a black Christian Canadian. So the mission goes to Mars, and while they're trying to cut their way into the sealed tunnel with lasers, they're ambushed by aliens and taken prisoner. The aliens are called the Krish, and they treat the humans really well. The accommodations are comfortable, they're given good food, and they're taught the Krish language. And the Krish introduce themselves to the astronauts and basically say that they travel the universe, going from planet to planet, and any sentient species that they meet that would like to join them on their journeys are welcome to come along. And their most recent expedition, 2,000 years ago, was to Earth. And a bunch of ancient Jews decided that they wanted to come along with the Krish on their interplanetary journeys. And one of these Jews was named Jesus. And Jesus actually convinced the alien Krish that that he is the Messiah. And so now in hollowed out caverns under Mars, you've got the Krish aliens who have converted to Judaism, and then the human Jews that originally came along on their interplanetary expedition. And they all live in hollowed out caves underneath Mars, and in the center of the main cavern is this gigantic glowing radioactive sphere that gives off light and heat, and that's where Jesus resides. So the technology of the Jewish Krish and human Jews is more advanced than what's on Earth. So they can cure cancer, they drive around in anti-gravity cabs, they can use pills to remember anything, and they don't die of old age. So after the Krish kind of let the astronauts get accustomed to Martian life, they let them out of prison, they're kind of allowed to explore the caverns for a bit. They announced that Jesus is going to come down from the sun in the middle of the cavern where he resides and meet everybody. So he comes down and performs some miracles which are broadcast back to Earth using the astronauts' equipment. And in that broadcast, Jesus announces, hey, guess what? The Messiah is back, and I'm coming back to Earth, and I'm going to bring all this amazing technology back to Earth for you. So nobody on Earth will have to, get sick from cancer anymore. No one's going to have to die from old age. Now, the captain of the astronauts, Orm, thinks that's not such a great idea, actually, because he thinks that if Jesus shows up, it's going to disrupt human society too much. He thinks that all these technologies might be too much for humanity to handle. They're not ready for it. They might try to sell for profit or argue over it. And he's just not ready for the big changes that the return of Jesus to Earth is going to bring about. So he has some doubts that this is a good idea. And all of the astronauts have their own personal struggles with interacting with this creature that, claims to be Jesus and does all these miraculous things. One of the astronauts is a Jew, so of course he is able to accommodate to that the easiest, but the Muslim and the atheist astronauts have the hardest time making sense of all this. So Captain Orm has his doubts, so Jesus, knowing that, gives Orm a private audience. And this is an interesting conversation because Jesus provides Orm with a couple of different explanations for his miraculous powers. The first explanation Jesus gives is that he is just Jesus, the Son of God, and the Messiah, and that's how he's able to do all these amazing things. The second explanation he gives, Captain Orm, is that as the Krish traveled the universe, they stopped by a planet where beings of pure energy lived, and one of these pure energy beings got on board the Krish's ship without them knowing it, and it's now taking the form of Jesus. And then the third explanation that doesn't exactly help Orm sleep at night is that Jesus is this alien parasitic worm that lives inside of a human body and is actually the Antichrist. So he's concerned about what the nature of Jesus is. And Jesus, the astronauts, and a detachment of humans and Krish all get on board spaceships, and they head back to Earth. And as they travel back to Earth, Captain Orm really wrestles with, oh boy, what do I do? Is Jesus the Antichrist? Is he this energy alien? Is he really the Messiah? What's going to happen to Earth? And toward the end of the book, as on the way back, he makes some tough decisions that I won't spoil for you. But the ending of the book was quite good. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so that's basically the book in a nutshell. What I enjoyed about it was the premise. I really liked how they took science tropes like space aliens and space travel and then combined that with real life religions to see, how would alien encounters interact with real religions like Christianity and Judaism? How would modern people perceive technology that is so advanced that it almost seems like miracles? I found that premise just really interesting, and some of the deep thinking that the characters participate in was really enjoyable. I liked that a lot. I also liked how the book was ambiguous. It was really a puzzle for you to put together. There weren't a lot of clear answers. Even at the end, you could kind of draw your own interpretations about what it was all about. I really liked that. It wasn't a cut and dry story. It really asked the reader to invest in thinking about these topics and drawing their own conclusions from it. In terms of what I didn't like, I found that the book was a bit bloated, particularly in the middle, and dragged a bit. The first couple times, characters have these inner monologues about, wow, I'm an atheist, and here's this creature that, claims to be Jesus. What does that mean for my beliefs and my scientific values? And the first time that they have these monologues where they kind of struggle with kinds of things is interesting, but like the 10th time they do it, it gets a little bit old. I really think that the beginning of the book and the end of the book were the strongest points, and I think there was some fat in the middle that probably been cut out. And I also got to say, in the book, Jesus never played any blistering guitar solos or rode any dinosaurs. And I really feel that, that was inaccurate to Jesus and really a missed opportunity. So despite those shortcomings, I think overall, Jesus on Mars was an enjoyable, interesting read. I give it 4 stars. I do recommend it. I don't feel like it's something that you absolutely have to read, but I certainly found it interesting. I liked it. So yeah, if you want to check it out, go ahead. Jesus on Mars. All right. Thanks for watching.